Hare Krishna. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. And this is ISKCON of Silicon Valley, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we're here in Mountain View, California, 1965 Latham. If you're thinking of driving down, please come. If you came to the wrong place, you can stay anyway. We will feed you later. And those of you who have joined online, thank you very much for coming. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness was founded by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who had come on a mission of goodwill from India. And he had met a luminary in a spiritual line called the Gaudiya Sampradaya, coming from one of Krishna. Krishna is a name for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one of the avatars of Krishna, whose name is Chaitanya. Everyone say Chaitanya. An avatar means one who crosses down in order to offer help. That's always nice, right? If you're stranded somewhere and you don't have the means to get out of the situation you're in and someone comes and offers a helping hand, that's very much appreciated. And Chaitanya, who as an incarnation of Krishna appeared in the world approximately 500 years ago, 500 plus, had given what's called the Yuga Dharma. Dharma means something that holds us, that sustains us. And in every era, there's a particular way in which one can take up a spiritual practice that's sustaining. And as was taught by Chaitanya, the sustaining practice, or what's called the Yuga Dharma, everyone say, it's called Sankirtan. Kirtan comes from the word kirti, which means to make someone famous. Kirti means fame. So when you talk about someone, you would say, oh, guess what such and such did? They're really good. You're glorifying them, you're doing kirti. And when you speak the names of God and you spread information about God, this is also called Kirtan. And when you put the word sam means together. And so Sankirtan, say Sankirtan, means to glorify God together. And one of the ways of doing that, that's very simple, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought up as effective in this age, is singing the names of God, especially the Maha Mantra. So Maha means great in Sanskrit, and mantra is an utterance that frees one's consciousness, a problem that Krishna points out in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a text over 5,000 years old that has commonsensical spiritual knowledge. It's something that you can read and then practice. That we become implicated in this world by material consciousness, the way we look at the world, the attitudes that we have, the philosophies that we develop, when they're out of alignment with our highest nature, and with our highest potential, then they lead us in ways that are frustrating, or they lead us to destinations that are frustrating. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about what our real nature is. And lo and behold, it's that we're part and parcel of the Supreme. Just as much as a spark from a fire is part of the fire. It is fire, it's part of the fire, but it's also separated from the fire at the same time that it's one with the fire. And that's our situation as well, says Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that we're part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So we have the same nature, and that is that we're conscious and Krishna is conscious, but Krishna is supremely conscious, whereas we have a limited consciousness in that we can only be conscious, for instance, of our own body and barely that. We really don't know what's going on. Like sometimes things come up in one's body and you say, I wonder what that's all about. And it's like, I don't know. You might even ask the doctor, what's that about? And it's like, I don't know either. we have a limited awareness of our environment, although we know we're in a body. We can become aware of that. But Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all other living entities, actually the source of all energies, is aware of all of his parts and also of all of his energies. He's also in control of them. And when we're aligned with Krishna, we feel whole. And when we get separated from Krishna, then we feel incomplete. And therefore, the process called yoga means to complete oneself by being reattached to Krishna. But reattached how? Through consciousness. That's why this is called Krishna consciousness. It's also called bhakti yoga. Everyone say bhakti yoga. And it's also called devotional service. And note that it's not just devotion, because there's something active to do to express your devotion, to carry out the feeling of devotion that you have for the Supreme. And so the International Society for Krishna Consciousness follows the teachings of Chaitanya. He's also called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Sri Chaitanya. These are honorifics added onto his name. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu follows strictly in line with the ancient teachings called the Bhagavad Gita, as I just mentioned, and also Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a little more of an extensive explanation of what Krishna consciousness is and how to practice it. It's worth a read. It won't take you long if you dedicate yourself to it. You can read the whole thing over five years if you just read around 8 pages a day. So it's a lengthy conversation, and there are many different parts to it. But it's one of the ways that we can become Krishna conscious and also understand our nature, which is part of Krishna consciousness, understanding who we are. Without knowing who one is or what the purpose of life is, life can seem overwhelming. So many choices and so many obstacles, even if we pick a path, that we might be held up in various ways, right? Everyone say yes, otherwise I'll feel really bad because that's my situation. And there are various practices in Krishna consciousness which are very relatable to us humans. There's art. For instance, the art of making a garland. It's not well known in Silicon Valley. Most people don't know how to make a flower garland. Do you think that's safe to say? I went to San Francisco State University and I looked for a class in flower garland making and I couldn't find one. And if you look at Stanford, you won't find one either. Or what to speak of Berkeley or Davis. But it's one of the aesthetic expressions of devotion is making a garland. And who do you make it for, do you suppose? In a process called Krishna consciousness or devotional service, who do you think you'd offer the flower garland to? Krishna? Do we have 100% concurrence on that? So who would it be for? Krishna. Yeah, so making a flower garland is pleasing to the senses. I've experienced it myself when I first joined the Krishna consciousness movement in San Francisco. After they cleaned me up a little bit, they led me to a room, nice and clean room, and they gave me a needle and some flower petals, and they said, string them together. And I found myself in a very pleasant situation. I was sitting in a room that was very clean. I was clean, and I had a needle, and I had flowers all around me. How often do you have that in your life? Surrounded by flowers, and I was stringing them. Then I started thinking, oh, this is very interesting. I'm making a flower garland for Krishna. And I felt a pang of devotion in my heart from doing that. So it's an aesthetic art, making flower garlands, one that there's a group here that gets together regularly, and they work together, different patterns and styles and colors and kinds of flowers to make garlands for Krishna. And other pleasing activities, there's singing. People like to sing. When there's music, it means there's some celebration of some kind. I used to look forward to Christmas time in our household. Everybody played an instrument, and before we'd have a Christmas party at our house, my mother would start practicing her piano, and then we'd sing together Christmas carols. Would you like me to sing some? No, you wouldn't. I know them all, though, because we used to sing them all together as a family. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. I said I wouldn't do it, but anyway, there's a sense of togetherness when you sing. There's a sense of joyfulness when you're able to express things in words. And this is very, very much known in all the devotional communities. In the Christian community, I don't know about in Islam, if they're singing. Buddhists, maybe a little quieter. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe a gong, ding. But there's sound vibration. It's very important. So in Krishna consciousness, the aesthetic of singing songs together, but not just any songs. They're not whimsical, but they're songs about Krishna. And when you sing Krishna's names, and you sing them to different tunes, some kind of Indian music called raga, then there's a sense of being carried by the aesthetic of the music and the tune. And then, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, coming back to his teaching of the process of Krishna consciousness or devotional service, when you sing the names of God, he said, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis, that you're getting all the power of the energies of God, the personal energies of God you're associating with when you sing the names of God. And he said, Nam Nam Akari. There are many names of God, and you can sing them together in aesthetically pleasing ways. And he also said that it's a purifying process when you sing the names of God. And that was in one of the first utterances he made about the efficacy of the process of devotional service. It was Cheto Darpana Marjanam. That is, the Cheta means the consciousness. And it gets purified. It gets cleaned. It's like you're giving yourself a wash. I think last night I saw, there's a lot of places in Burlingame now that are for making sure that your skin is clean. A lot of people go in for facials, apparently, and they want to get their face really clean because I guess it looks brighter when it's clean. But who knows how to clean the heart? Or the consciousness. That's more important, actually. It's nice to have a clean face, but it's more important to clean the consciousness. So that's the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he taught that you can do that most effectively by singing the names of God, or you can just say them. You can say them out loud, and if you get used to that practice of uttering the name of God over and over again in a mantra, then you'll start to notice that your mind becomes calmer. And then you'll start to feel some sense of perspective of the world and the universe. Not that you're just caught up in your life situation, but you're able to back off a little bit and look at it and see, oh, I'm in a world that's spinning. And I'm stable. I'm watching it all go by, and I'm not so disturbed by all the changes. That could be, that kind of consciousness can be affected by saying the mantra in a process called japa. Everyone say japa. Yeah, japa means to sit with yourself, say the mantra out loud, listen to the sound vibration, and it's a kind of meditation where you say it over and over again. And then, of course, there's cooking. Anybody here who likes to eat? Okay, I'm in on that. It's a joyful time when you're able to, prepare a meal. People get together. Family gatherings are all around the kitchen. If you invite people over and you don't feed them, they won't come back. I guarantee you. Or if you don't feed them properly, they'll well, let's not go to that place again. Any living entity, if you feed animals, chipmunks, they'll become your friends. They'll come to your house every day. I have some devotee friends who live in Tokyo. They've since moved to the country, but they had a apartment. There's some really big apartment buildings in Tokyo, and they lived up on one of the higher floors. And there was a nice little bird that came every single day to visit, and they'd fly all the way up to their lanai, or as they say in Hawaii, or their balcony that's out there, and it would just land there, and then they'd feed him some nut prasadam or seed prasadam. Prasadam means food that's offered to God. And he'd be very happy. And then he'd come back the next day, same time. Almost as if he had a Apple Watch on or something. He knew where it was, and he knew what time to come. I saw it also in India. I have a friend who has a little country setting right near the Vrindavan city, and every day the same dog would come at the exact right time to get a roti. Anybody know what a roti is? Yeah, it's like a flat, unyeasted bread. How's that for an explanation of a roti? I don't know. It's bread without the yeast, and flat. And it's a staple in northern India, anyway. And the dog would come at the exact time every day. You'd just see him coming down the lane. And as almost we checked his paws to see if he had a wristwatch on. How did you know to come at the exact time? Because everyone likes to be fed. So Krishna consciousness, the Hare Krishna movement, is a kitchen religion. It's all based around the kitchen. And there's two aspects to that. One aspect is cooking as a devotional activity. Mothers are known, and sometimes fathers or whoever cooks in the family. It's a nurturing of the whole group, whoever's cooking. They're cooking, and there's a sense of love and exchange when you cook for other people, right? Yeah, it's really nice. You know, people come home from home cooking because there's love in it. It's not just in a package, it was on a plane, it's in a bag, it came out of a machine, but actually, you know, your mom made it for you, and it's made out of love. So in Krishna consciousness, one of the greatest of all aesthetics is the cooking. So the way the cooking works is that Krishna is a person and he has senses. Who would have guessed that? Most people don't know that. They just say God is some impersonal force, or there is a God, but we don't know who he is, and don't even try to discuss it. Otherwise, it'll be blasphemy. But in the Vedas and in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a very clear sense of who God is. God is the supreme person. And he has senses, just as we have senses, but his senses are unlimited, whereas our senses are limited. And that's good news if you want to cook for someone, because they can unlimitedly appreciate what you cook for them. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya priyachati taraham bhaktuparitam ashnami paritatmanaha. Amazing aspect of cooking for Krishna, and that is he only accepts the love. It's the love. It's not the quality of the food, although that's part of love. If you cook haphazardly or it's half-baked and you offer it to somebody, they're like, do you really like me, or are you trying to get rid of me? So if you cook something wholeheartedly with the right mood for Krishna, then Krishna says, I taste it. I actually take it. And there's a visceral sense of this when devotees cook for God, cook for Krishna, that he has senses. He's going to enjoy this. So they're very mindful when they're cooking. Mindful cooking because it's devotional. Then it's offered to Krishna, please accept my offering. And after that, the food becomes prasadam. Everyone say prasadam. But not too loud because everyone will come running from. And then when you take prasadam, we don't just eat prasadam. In fact, in one of the prayers we sing is Shayanamrita Pao, which means that we're honoring this as the grace of God. We're eating as a meditation on God, a devotional meditation. That's doable, right? You have to do the doables in life. So this is doable. You have to eat anyway, right? Say yes. And if you're going to eat, the way to eat devotionally is to take prasadam. Eat prasadam and honor it. Just think this came from God as mercy. It already does anyway. You get an apple off a tree. It's the most amazing thing. I have a Fuji apple tree in my backyard because I like Fuji apples. And the Fujis are still good on the tree. And just around the time it starts to get cold, it's almost as if they're refrigerated up there. I thought they would have been all taken by the squirrels and everybody else by the time I got back from India last week. But no, they're still up there, refrigerated on the tree. A nice little covering on the Fuji apple. You open it up, and it's the tastiest kind of food you could ever get. And Krishna has myriad varieties of these types of food that he offers to every living entity. This is mentioned in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bahunam Yovidinhati Kaman. It's a very useful mantra. It's a way to see God everywhere. It says, God's feeding everyone. And if you look around, you see, to ants, what do you guys do for a living? Nothing really. We don't have any rent, no insurance, but they're eating. And if you go to a jungle, there's not many elephants left in the world. People harass the elephants. They got annoyed and they're, not so happy nowadays. But when there were a lot of elephants in the jungles, they had plenty to eat. And they eat a lot. I lived with an elephant once in South India, and he ate a lot. And the point is, God's feeding everyone anyway. So it's not a stretch to say, thank you, God, for giving this. I'm offering this to you out of love, and then accept it. That's a small step, but it makes a big difference in one's life and in one's consciousness. And it's the adjustment of consciousness from being mindless to being Krishna conscious. And if you have that, there's every indication that you can become sense-controlled. There's a famous, very beautiful poetical verse that comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Yat pada pankacha palasya vilasya bhakta karmashrayam gratitam ugratayanti santa tadvanda rikta matayo yatayopi rudha shroto ganas tamaranam bhajavasudevam. Which means that when you do devotional service through these aesthetic performances, offerings to Krishna out of love, making flower garlands, help me out here, singing. Nobody's going to help me out here? First one was making garlands. Started there because the garlands here are notable. Another one? Singing. And cooking. And then after cooking, eating. There's so many sensory activities. He said, if you get involved in all these aesthetically pleasing sensory activities that are in relation to Krishna, you get what's called vilas. Everyone say vilas. A sense of superior enjoyment. And that's necessary because we can't just give up the world. It's not possible for us. Us souls want variety. We want bliss. We want happiness. We want variety. Right? Say yes. Yeah. You can't just sit in a room. The worst punishment on the earth is solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is the cruelest thing that you can do to any person. People, they have to have association with others. They have to have variety. They have to have music. Try sitting on a plane for 14 hours. What do you want to do? Get off. Right? After 14 hours, don't you want to get off? Even after 4 hours, and it's like, I want terra firma. I want to see some trees. So we need variety, but it has to be the kind of variety that's connected to Krishna. Then what we get is called vilas. Vilas means spiritual enjoyment, a kind of happiness that comes from the aesthetic. It pleases the senses, it pleases the soul. And when you have that, karmashrayam gratitan ugratayanti santa, it means that one can overcome all the other vices of the world. Anybody here ever notice that there are vices in the world? A few people noticed? Yeah. There's things you can get attached to that aren't that good for you, possible? Yeah, and then once they get on you, you're just like, get off me. And it's like, no, I'm not getting off you. And you just can't get rid of them, right? So there's a solution. And Krishna says it in a similar way in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Param drishva nivartate. Try to taste a higher kind of happiness. And it's not just from sitting and looking at a wall. It's from cooking. It's from making garlands. It's through singing. But singing for Krishna, cooking for Krishna. What's the other one? Associating with people who are Krishna conscious. So that's what the Krishna consciousness movement is. It's a way to get a superior kind of pleasure through which one can become liberated, extricated from the normal obligations of this world, which are obligations to the senses, to the mind, and they all have their demands. And they tell us what to do, and we're sick of it, right? Say yes. We're not going to take it anymore, right? Yeah, that's it. Enough. So there's a way to escape. And it's real escapism because the material world, according to Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, is temporary, and therefore we call it unreal in that sense. It's dreamlike. So we retreat into reality. That's a good theme, retreat into reality. And once you get into reality, you get a taste for reality, reality is beautiful. The only reason this world is beautiful and attractive is a reflection of reality. So Krishna consciousness and the Krishna consciousness movement is meant to introduce people into a direct pathway into reality that's beautiful. What's more, there's a way in which to engage our senses through the aesthetically pleasing activities that we're all looking for in a way that we get the real taste that we're looking for, which is called Vilas. That's right. 20 points over here. Yes. So the singing part. Let's try a little song. If you break into dance, nobody's going to stop you here. It's a Hare Krishna temple. That's one I didn't mention, but when you sing and you feel so happy that you can't contain yourself anymore, then you can dance. Or if you're morose and you're worried about things, anybody morose? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me try that. Anybody worried about anything? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if you just dance anyway, then the worries fly away. And we'll try the Hare Krishna dance party a little later, so get ready for that. We'll just warm up now with a little bit of singing. How's that sound? Not that good? Only a little good? Okay. All right. So no kirtan is complete without cowbell. So this is the ceremonious passing of the cowbell to Gita Priya. 1, 2, 3. Slightly unceremonious. Okay. So what we're going to do here, if you're all up for it, is we'll sing a couple of mantras. It's a way to enter into the chanting of the Maha Mantra, which I mentioned earlier, that gives us an open door. So the first mantra you see up here, I'll just explain briefly. Nama Om is a way of offering respect. Nama means not me, it's you. It's all about you, not me. And the next one, Om, means the complete whole, the supreme. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale means this is respecting a person who's very dear to Krishna. And that's the image on the left-hand side. We're offering a respect to the one who started the Krishna consciousness movement and who sits up on this ornate seat called the Vaisesika as a representative of the line of teachers who have passed this down over many generations. Then the mantra mentions our guru's guru, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda. His name is Bhaktivedanta, and then his spiritual master's name is Saraswati Deve. And what's he doing? Why is he being respected? Because Gauravani Pracharine, which means that he's taking the teachings of the avatar named Chaitanya, and he's spreading it all over the world, and it's overcoming the ideas that have become prevalent called Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. These things mean that ultimately we don't have a personality. Who here thinks that they don't have a personality? Anyone? It's okay. Go ahead. Even the act of denial is an act of personality because consciousness can't be denied, and if you deny it, then you just contradicted yourself because denial of consciousness is an act of consciousness. So there is no sense of nirvishesha. It's a false philosophy, the idea that there's nothing, or shunyavad, everything's void. So he's counteracting these ideas which are pervasive. We're just matter. Once the matter's disassembled, then there is no more person. That's one philosophy. Another philosophy is that consciousness is just a chance combination of matter bumping together, but although it transfers from one body to another through reincarnation, it doesn't really exist, and ultimate liberation means you become nothing. You merge into nothing, or you become nothing, or there is nothing anyway, so there's nothing to really talk about. And Paschatya means, where did he do it? Paschatya Desh, Silicon Valley. Paschatya Desh means far west, away from the place where people already know about this. That's the other day, we were downtown San Francisco, and a market in Powell, and we were offering people Bhagavad Gitas. 2,000 of them, as a matter of fact, we distributed. And while we were there, we were thinking that this is a pretty far west place to come to distribute Bhagavad Gita. And that was the mission of our founder and Acharya. And then the next one says, it's a mantra glorifying Chaitanya and his associates who worked together to start the Yuga Dharma. Hopefully all terms that are now commonly known, because I already explained them. Shri Krishna, you can repeat after me. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhaktavrinda. So this is a way of saying thank you to all of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates who have brought the process of Krishna consciousness. Now, what's the story with the temperature in here? It's funny. In India, when it starts to get cold, everyone really bundles up. And from California, we think, well, that's not really so cold. But it just feels warm in here. It's way too warm. We need air, right? We demand air. Can we have a little air? Okay. Okay, let's sing. We said the mantras, so now we'll sing Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. See, that's fun, right? It's vilas. There's enjoyment. And when we have enjoyment through spiritual channels, then we've noticed that we'll get residual benefits. Like we'll feel a sense of detachment from things that aren't good for us. We'll also have a sense of spiritual integrity, some strength. We feel some strength in the world. And we become better people. We develop qualities that are more noble, virtuous, and so forth. This comes from spiritual strength because we have weakness of heart. We give in to things that are not good for us or good for other people. Generally, things aren't good for us, aren't good for other people. We're links in the chain, in the social chain, and we degrade ourselves, then we pull down people around us. So it's very important for the whole world, for individuals to be spiritually strong, and for the whole society to have this sense of spiritual purpose. Otherwise, given to their own natures, humans tend to sink lower and lower into depraved ways of living, and they fight it out in really harmful ways. There you have it, in a nutshell. So now, let's see if there's any questions. Or is that too hard? That's a rousing thing to ask people if you want to ask a question, right? Because then you got to think of something. Unless you have a good question. If you have a bad question, you can ask too. We'll have a group of judges say how you did, and you'll win $100 if you can actually ask a bad question. Does that sound fair? Okay. Or if there's anything you heard that's stuck in your mind that you would like to report back with, that would be helpful. Anything that you heard so far. We need a microphone all the way to the Panchatattva.
Check 1, 2. Okay.
He's a professional singer. So no,
I just
no
want to
stranger
say,
to the microphone. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for being here. Did you? And I think you just got back.
Yes, last week.
Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I just want to say to everybody, it feels so nice to get devotee association. I don't get to get a lot of that, and it's difficult, you know. I do my home worship, chanting, following the regular principles and all that, but it's still, devotee association is so inspiring. And so I just loved to hear everybody singing with passion, and it was beautiful. So I just wanted to make that comment. And
it's a very welcome comment, and it's a very important comment too. It's one of the reasons that Prabhupada started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because we need a society when we're practicing bhakti, although we do it in our homes, and that's important. We also need a place where we can come together as a bigger community, or if it's a medium-sized or small community, it's okay, but a Krishna conscious community and having association with like-minded people is vital to staying strong in Krishna consciousness. And it's a heartfelt reflection, because when you're away and then you come back, you appreciate it even more, right? For instance, one of the great teachers of Bhakti used to talk about how if you're in the desert and you're thirsty, and there's no water, and then somebody offers you a glass of water, you'd pay $1 million for it. But if you live next to a lake or something, it's not that a big a deal. So sometimes when we're further away and then we're able to come close, then there's even more appreciation for the process of Krishna consciousness. But one trick is to never take it for granted. And it's one of the ways that in the teachings of Chaitanya, he said that be respectful. Always be respectful around devotees, because, well, as the old saying goes, don't bite the hand that feeds you. And we're really fed by our association with devotees, whether new or old. There's a way that we get so much from devotees. So he recommended always be respectful. And even if somebody transgresses a little bit socially, then you can move back a few steps, but still try to stay respectful. So that's helpful. Radha Kripa, and then Kanka. Kanka, and then Radha Kripa. Okay, Radha Kripa, then Kanka.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I liked when you were talking about how the animals, like the bird would come at a certain time, and how the dog would come at a certain time, and how that's so indicative of the personality that is within that body, and also how the super soul guides them, just like the salmon go to the same spawning place every year, and the butterflies fly to Mexico every year. It's just such an amazing event.
And the geese this time of year. Has anybody seen the geese? You can hear them coming. It's such a sound of autumn, isn't it? Do you know what geese sound like? Can anybody imitate a goose? We'll need a group of you to do that. But it's a very enlivening sound to me. And if you look outside, you'll notice they're going south. I was driving north the other day, and I saw them going the other way. And of course, they know what south is, because as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Hridaya Shardana Chishtati, he said that Tishtati means situated, and Hridaya means the heart. He tells Arjuna, as part of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, that I'm situated within everyone's heart. So the reason we notice sometimes, and we can be more mindful of this, that we get instruction from our intelligence. This is called the form direction of the supersoul. God in the heart gives us intelligence, much the way a parent gives some wise instruction to a child. It says, don't put your hand on there, or go left, not right. And for animals, they're directed by the supersoul from within, so they know how. For instance, I was in Utah, and there's a lot of beavers there. And I visited a long stream in which beavers built their dams. They're excellent engineers. None of them went to Cal Poly. Little beaver sitting at a desk taking a test about how to build a dam. And they all know how to do it so expertly. It's well engineered. They get intelligence. There's a universal intelligence. Other cultures have noted that. The indigenous people of America had a sense of worship of the universal intelligence, the Great Spirit, and understood that there's a pervasiveness in nature. Even Walt Whitman, who wrote poetry about this, he was a bit of a pantheist, but he would see how God is running everything in nature. You'd see God in nature, pantheism. Pantheism means you see God in everything and everywhere. And the Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says that's true. In fact, in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he'll say things like that we can relate to on an everyday basis. See if you can relate to these things. Punyo Gandha means I'm the fragrance of earth. When do you notice the fragrance of earth the most? Don't you love that smell? That's Krishna. He says, Punya Gandha Prativyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavasha. So Tejas, Chasmi, he's the light and fire. And he says, Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. If you see a seed, and there's a wonderment in this seed, isn't it? Have you looked at a seed lately? Be truthful. No, not lately. Homework. Go get a seed, put it in your hand, and look at it for a little while. It's actually one of the most interesting of all devices on the planet. Everyone thinks that the iPhone or something like that. It's like, what do you got this time? Come on, you can do better than that. That's all it does. Just runs an airline from one place, that's all you can do. But if you take a seed, that's even more miraculous. It's better than an iPhone, don't you think? Yes. Yeah, but we take it for granted and just say, it's just a seed, it happened by chance. No, it's an engineered little unit, and it didn't happen by chance. It's Krishna. It's Krishna's genius. You take a seed, you look at it, and it looks insignificant, dried up, like you could miss it, really, unless you knew that it was a seed. Put it in the ground, little soil, sunshine, and rain. Next thing you know, you got a lime tree coming up. And what does it do? It gives limes with more seeds in them and so forth. So Krishna says, try to see me in the scent of earth. See me in the heat and fire. See me in the seed. Wherever you see a seed, see, that's Krishna. And also the intelligence that comes from Krishna, we can see how all living beings are being directed one way or another. Especially driving on the road in India. How is it that people miss each other by 2 inches? Going 60 miles an hour towards one another. Super soul. And if they don't make it, it's usually the driver's fault because they're inebriated or something and they can't respond to Super Soul saying, cut to the left, and they go, oh, too late. So Super Soul's running everything, and we can perceive God. It's not hard. It's just that we have to tune in. We can see His presence everywhere. And there's a sort of exhilaration in that I'm not the controller. It's all going on by a higher power. That's a beginning to spiritual life, to actually appreciate that. Okay, who else did we have? We had Radhakripa.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I really like your point about that we need variety, which is connected to Krishna. Otherwise, this is a Thanksgiving season, so sale is going on and we have enough, but we need another version. And still that is not going to satisfy. So I really like that thing, it's connected back to that. Unless it is connected to Krishna, it is not going to satisfy you.
It's all the same things that everyone likes to do. Everyone wants to go home and meet friends and be with family and sing and eat and watch something interesting, right? And that's all there in Krishna consciousness, all connected to Krishna. So it's not hard. Bhakti is not something austere. It's not going away from variety. It's not going away from the enjoyment of the senses. In fact, it's better sense gratification than you can get in the material world. In the material world, one thing that's missing is love. People generally create things because they want to make a profit on it. And it's a rare exception when somebody doesn't want to make a profit. They just want to do it by the goodness of their heart and offer it to everybody. That's when those types of events happen in the world, people take notice. Like Woodstock. Do you remember Woodstock? Were you all around for that? When was that? 1967? Kanka and I were here. So there was a big concert. Do I have to back up and tell the whole history? You all know about Woodstock? I'm not convinced, but anyway. Okay, so it was a big concert. It was the beginning of an era, kind of a rebirth of the romantic era where people felt, I may be kicked out. Oh, I dodged a bullet. Can you all move up? By 7.5 inches, move up. Because there are more guests coming. I think we said prasadam too loud, and they heard it. It's online. Everyone's coming, driving in. So I'll just finish my analogy of Woodstock. It became famous, and it was especially noteworthy because famous musicians were invited to come and play there. And at first they had thought that they would charge admission, but they didn't plan it very well. And there was no way to contain the audience that were coming in, so they just decided to do it for free. And the people who put it on were, one of them was spending his inheritance, and he spent millions of dollars to put it on, and he just said, it's for the good of the people. It wasn't, spiritually beneficial, but I'm just giving a material example. And he said, okay, free for everybody. And that's one of the reasons that it became known as a festival of love, because it was free. It was being offered, everyone can come for free, can be here, and so forth. So when people do something in an unmotivated way, they just want to do for the good of others, it rises above the normal level where people are doing things with a motive for profit or so. So when we come into a realm where we experience that there's the motivation is to do it in service to Krishna, then there's a natural sense of satisfaction. So everything that we do in the material world that we look forward to, that's what we do in Krishna consciousness, but we just change the motive. And it becomes 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 times better than it was before. Imagine the real form of Thanksgiving, where everyone comes home, they're all happy to be together. I mean, not always, but everyone's there together, and everyone feels this connectedness. And it's for Krishna, so it feels fulfilling, and it's not a letdown, and there's not a sense of false ego involved, because everyone knows Krishna's the center. Okay, so I think that was it on the questions and comments. Yes, Prahlad.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. So I have this question. I read Krishna book, and then when Balram goes on a visit, for different shrines in India, right? And he goes to an assembly of sages, where Romaharshana is sitting on Vyasasana. And by rules, he was not supposed to wake up and pay obeisances. So that's why he didn't rise and didn't pay obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Balram killed him. So whereas Krishna says in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Guna Karma Vivagashah, right? Balram gives an explanation that Romaharshana is a son of a mother who is Brahman and father who is a Kshatriya, right? So, and then he says he has a he's low born, and then he's given such a good position, right? And I don't understand, right? The explanation did not quite stick with me. So the explanation was given there that, he can kill whoever, like Supreme Personality of Godhead can kill whoever he wants. But when Balram says that, he gives an explanation that he was low born, right? Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So whoever develops the good, better consciousness or consciousness of a Brahman, right? Then he can rise to the level of, a devotee. So it seemed quite contradictory to me, and I feel that if someone develops good qualities and raises his consciousness, he should be given a better position, right? Instead of just because he's born in a low caste or something. So if you could give explanation on that, I would be really happy.
Please ask a question in one sentence with no semicolons. One sentence, no semicolons, only a period at the end. Go.
So if
question mark at the end.
If just because you're low born, you shouldn't be given in the low.
That doesn't sound like a question. You're going to have to run into a semicolon there. Ask it as a question. Can you what is
So if someone is low born, can he be given a better position and if he develops a good, if he raises his consciousness?
Yes. Absolutely. It's the whole purpose, to rise to a higher level. The story you're mentioning is very instructive, and it's about Romaharshana. This is an iconic figure who is a great scholar. He had learned all the Vedas. The Vedas are complicated. You have to be in the right environment. You can't do that in the kind of environments we have now. He grew up learning everything. Like, in India, there are people called Trivedi. There may even be some in this room. It dates back to a time when people were able to memorize 3 Vedas. Nowadays, we do C++, and what's the other one? Java. Java the Hutt. So there's all these things we memorize, but they used to memorize the vibrations of the Vedas. But the simplest answer, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna points out, Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishto matak smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaishcha sarvarham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vedeva chaham. He says, if you're going to learn the Vedas, you have to know what the point is. Don't miss the point. Keshav Maharaj gave this example 2 years ago at Govardhan. It's a story. You want to hear a story? Yes. No, we hate stories. Okay. The story was that a man was sitting observing one day, and he saw two people pull up in a truck, and they had shovels. So they jumped out, and over the ridge of a hill, one was digging a hole and putting the dirt out, and the other one was taking the dirt and putting it back in. And he watched curiously for about an hour, and then he couldn't take it anymore, so he went back over and said, "Excuse me, guys, but what are you doing?" They said, "We're planting seeds." But the third guy who comes here, throws the seed in, didn't come. And the theme of his talk, of Keshav Maharaj's talk, was don't miss the point. So Romaharshana missed the point. He learned all the Vedas, but he didn't know that the ultimate point of the Vedas was Krishna. Of course, everyone can rise. That's the whole theme of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Even people that are totally outside the realm of Varnashram, all the various levels that you mentioned, that have nothing to do with that. They can be from the lowest type of background. In fact, they're generally in the Srimad Bhagavatam we're referred to as Shwapacha. They're cultures that eat different kinds of animals, and at that time they called Shwapacha was people who cooked dogs. That was their diet. He said even the Shwapacha can rise to the ultimate level, highest level. So yes, everybody can rise in due course of time. The case of Romaharshana was that he had learned all the Vedas, he totally missed the point, and there he was sitting on the seat of esteem teaching other people. One of the missions of Balaram himself is to make sure the right teachers are in place. And not to worry, because when Krishna, or Balaram, who's his first expansion, kills somebody, they get as much benefit as those who are praying to him, because God's all good. When he kills demons, they become immediately liberated. It's a good thing. It's not bad. So we can cheer up. Now, yes, Arman, who's our man. You have a good set of lungs. When we were singing, I noticed that your voice was very, very powerful. Did you notice that? And yesterday, or 2 days ago, when we were down in San Francisco, I heard you singing also. Very powerful voice. It's a good gift to have.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. I really liked a point that resonated with me. I really liked your lecture. A point that resonated with me was when you talked about how our souls can return into reality. Uh-huh. And it reminded me of a quote that I recently read by Srila Prabhupada. He incorporated an analogy of a person dreaming that he's like the king, and then he comes out of the dream and he realizes that he is wrong, and Srila Prabhupada says that this relates to us souls in the material world, thinking that we're the creator and we're the enjoyer of the material world. But when we get out of that dream, or when we realize that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, creator, and destroyer of the material world, we understand that we come out of that dream and we understand and go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His
Well
in His
done.
abode.
Well done. Bravo. Yeah. So this is a ubiquitous analogy given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. First of all, just mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the material world using the analogy of a banyan tree. What's interesting about a banyan tree is its roots are downward, or the branches are downward and the roots go upward. So just as when you see a reflection on a pond, you see the tree upside down. So the material world is a reflection of reality, 180%. So the other 180% is the spiritual world. The reflection on the material energy is that of reality. So it's a dreamlike condition. We're looking at something that's amorphous. It's here today, gone tomorrow. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that that kind of life where we're chasing after the will o' the wisp, you know what that means? Will o' the wisp. We looked it up when we were in Govardhan. It's quite amazing, actually. It dates back to a time when somebody would try to misguide somebody by putting up a false beacon, and the origin of it was somebody burning some straw. See it in there. They're burning some straw, and then someone would see a light from a distance, and then they'd follow it, but actually it was just straw, a little piece of straw burning, and they went the wrong way. It misguided them. Let's hear the etymological history. This is mind-boggling when you hear this, because it's a term that, have you ever heard this term? Will o' the wisp. And oftentimes we just pass by it going, yeah, will o' the wisp. But when you hear the history of the word, you'll never be the same. You'll walk out of here stunned. You'll go to work tomorrow and people say, what happened to you? It's like, I was reading the dictionary.
Will o' the wisp is a noun from the 1660s. Earlier it was called will with the wisp. From 1600, from the masculine proper name, will plus wisp, bundle of hay or straw used as a torch.
Anything more?
That's all Edom Online says.
Okay. We found other places where it referred to something that was otherworldly, sort of a glow in the nothingness of the night, something misleading, something that would take you off course. You got something like that in there? Let's hear more.
Yes, I use...
Yeah.
It says it's a flame-like currents caused by gases from decaying plants, and it says foolish travelers were said to try to follow the light and were then led astray into the marsh.
That's a one. Hold that place right there. That's another one. There's organic combustion because there's a way in which the decaying material comes together, makes some gas, it catches on fire, and then a traveler thinks, oh, there's the light of the inn, and walks right into the marsh. That's will o' the wisp, the material world. What else you got?
The light was first known as ignis fatuus, which in Latin means foolish fire, and eventually the name will o' the wisp was extended to any impractical or unattainable goal.
Ha! What do you think? Right? Yeah. Foolish fire. So the material world's like that, foolish fire. This is what Krishna's saying in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, you're getting faked out. The glowing things that you see here, all the lights and the flashing, nowadays you go downtown and everyone's flash, 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 come in here, but there's nothing there for you. You're just walking into a marsh and you say, oh, I walked into the marsh again. And you see the light. There is only the reflection. This is something that Krishna mentions in the Bhagavatam, in a very famous verse, if I may. Ritertam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani tad vidyanat manomayam yatabhaso yatatamaha. He says, whatever you see in this world that doesn't have any connection to Krishna, to me, he says that's will o' the wisp. You're walking into the marsh. It doesn't have any reality. What's more, it's misleading you. So that's why this material world, I'm going to teach you a big word. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, half of you are ready. Everyone else, close your ears. Here it goes. Maya. Everyone say. Maya means will-o'-the-wisp. It's a light, but it's not taking you anywhere except into a marsh, and you're getting attracted to it. As Prahlad Maharaj says in his prayers, that we're learning in these chapters, and the 9th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Kutra Shrisha Shruti Sukham Mriga Trishni Rupa. So Mriga means deer. Mriga Trishni Rupa means, Trishna means thirst, so a thirsty deer. Good name for a restaurant or something. The Mriga Trishni Rupa, the form of the deer who's running after water, where? In the desert. And why is he running? Because he sees a mirage. That's called the Mriga Trishni Rupa. It's a mirage that the deer run after thinking they're going to get a drink of water, but they don't get it because it recedes every time they approach it. So Prahlad Maharaj, who's a wise, saintly child, says, Kutra, where is it? Everyone's talking about sukham, or happiness, but it's shruti sukham. You only hear about it, but you never actually get there. Like when you go to somebody's house, and they're going to feed you, and you're in the front room, and you're really hungry. Have you ever been in this position? You're really hungry, and you go to their house, and they're really taking their time. Like, how you been? And they're like, let's talk a little more. And you hear somebody in there moving pots around and stuff like that, and they think maybe 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour goes by, and they never come out. It's just the hint that there's supposed to be dinner, but it never comes. And at the end, they're like, okay, thanks for coming. Like, that's it. There's nothing here. And the whole material world is like that. As everyone's waiting, it's like, it sounds like it's going to come out, but it never comes. This is the Mriga Trishni Rupa. It's the will-o'-the-wisp. So there's a sense that this is not all there is. There's a way people might say, then I'll just reject the whole material world. But in Bhakti, Lord Chaitanya said, no, the material world can be revived. It can be brought to the spiritual platform if you engage in Krishna's service. So everything that we're looking for is true. We're just looking in the wrong place. So Krishna conscious means just adjust your vision a little bit and see where reality is. So that gives us a few more minutes to chant one more time. Would you like to sing one more song? Okay. Would you like a somber tune, or would you like something upbeat and cheerful? Somber, okay. Do that properly. This is a little pensive. It's good because I've been joking around a lot, although it's in line with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. But this tune brings us to this sense of seriousness, and that this is actually, although I make it lighthearted, hopefully there's a way that it's a very serious proposition. We're hanging by a thread here in this world. And when we lose a loved one, then we realize, oh, this is serious business. And for each one of us, doesn't matter if we're a child, doesn't matter if we're old, young, working, not working, going to school, we're all in the same boat. I like that idiom. We're all in the same boat, and that is, at any time, we can be asked to leave this world. And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked us, wake up, wake up. Wake up to the fact that you don't belong here in the material world, and experience the full joy of your soul by engaging in devotional service. Jiv Jago means wake up. Jiv Jago Gaura Chandra Bole. That means Lord Chaitanya is singing. Gaura Chandra is a name for Lord Chaitanya. Bole means he's singing. So he's saying, wake up, please wake up from this dream that you're having in the material world. So let's try that. Jiv Jago, Jiv Jago, Gaura Chandra Kota nidra jao maya pishachira kole. You say, how long are you going to remain asleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? Kota nidra jao maya pishachira kole. Jeev jago, jeev jago. Ora chandra bole. Jeev jago, jeev jago. Gaura chandra bole. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. on harmonium, Bharat on the Mridanga, for our kartal players, Indra Priya on cowbell, for all the audience, the Hare Krishna singers, the one Hare Krishna dancer, for everybody in Silicon Valley, all over America, all over the world. Gaur Premanande, Sai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Sai Gaura Hari Bol. Okay, now we're going to do a great act of cooperation, which is we're going to take all the asanas, that's the things you're sitting on, and pile them up in the back in the neatest piles you've ever seen. And we'll roll up this rug, and we'll do all this in 2 minutes. And then we'll reassemble here in the main hall because we're going to have a Hare Krishna dance party. Are you ready to dance? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you in a minute.
So we're going to have Damodarastakam now. So please sit, and some of the devotees can line up for the Damodarastakam, and other devotees please sit facing the deities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I promised a dance party. We're all sitting down. We can break into dance later. This Damodarastakam is a beautiful prayer about a pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Mother Yashoda chases after her baby, Krishna. Krishna comes in various forms to please his devotees, and one is as a little child who's afraid of his mother, and the picture is on the center of the altar. So during this month of Kartika, of which today is the last day, we're singing this song. Devotees all over the world sing this song together to remember the pastime of Mother Yashoda and her little child, Krishna. Namam Ishvaram Satchidanandharupam Krita Cha. Prema bhaktim swakam niprayacha Namoste graho misti Damodareva. Translation, please. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings swing to and fro, who's beautifully shining in the divine realm Gokula, who quickly runs from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, who has been caught from behind by her, who ran with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound, not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my respectful obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, we do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours, as Bala Gopal in Vrindavan, may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the Bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor, ignorant fool, who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodar, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada, made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer my obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande Haribo, Kartik Prachi Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last chant at Kartik. Chant Hare Krishna. Put your heart into it. Last night. Could finish it all tonight. Go back to Godhead. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Namaste Narashinhaya. Praladadadayane.
We just want to dedicate the Nrsimhadev prayers really quickly. We would request all the devotees present to please pray for Shyam Jagannath Prabhu's father, who is currently in the ICU in Vrindavan. We request your prayers for him, as well as for the departed soul of Janita Agar, who also just recently left his body. So we request all the devotees to pray to Lord Nishingadev for their safety. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narsimhaya Mahlavadadayine Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha Sudhanam Kanakalaye Ito Nrishingha Parato Nrishingho Yato Yamitato Nrishingha Bahir Nrishingo Radaye Nrishingo Nrishinghavadin Sharanam Prapadye Sarvakara Kamala Vade Nakama Nrishinga Dalitai Ranya Kashi Uttarugina Eshabhadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Savakara Kamala Varena Dalitai Ranya Kashi Uttarugina Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Panchatattva ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev ki jai. Kartik Vrat ki jai. Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We welcome you all to the Sunday feast here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Thank you all for joining us. So I'm going to hand out the mic to Priya Kishori. She is our I was filling in for her. But before handing over the mic to her, we'd like to welcome Priya Kishori and Sharad Vihari Mukunda Prabhu. So please give them a big round of welcome. Hari Hari Bol. So Priya Kishori, to you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And we welcome you all to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. And today is a very special Sunday because it is the last day of Karthik. And we are welcoming back Vaisesika Prabhu and Nirikala Mataji from their Karthik Yatra. So we're so glad to have you back, Prabhu. This whole month was filled with kirtans every evening. We had different members of the community come and sing for their lordships and show ghee lamps. We want to thank everybody for coming together this month and making it so special, and also coming today to commemorate in such a beautiful way. So thank you very much for your participation. Today, do we have any newcomers visiting ISV for the first time? Welcome, Mataji. We have Mataji in the back. Haribol. Anyone else? Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, welcome. We have Prabhu here as well. Haribol. Anyone else? Well, we thank you so much for coming for the first time to ISV. We would like to do anything to make your stay here more comfortable, so please reach out to myself or Sri Gopal Prabhu here, and we'd be glad to help you. Hare Krishna. Before we move on to sponsors, we have a very special birthday today. Niharika is celebrating her 17th birthday. I know traditionally we ask questions. We traditionally ask a few questions, but Niharika is so intelligent. I don't know what to ask her. But I want to know, what are your feelings about turning 17 and how ISV has been a part of your heart?
ISV is my second family, my second home. I'm so grateful to be here, especially on this day. And I pray that I can stay in everyone's service. And please pray for me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Niharika. And we also feel the same. We're so close to all of our hearts, and we pray that you continue to grow and grow in your devotional service, and we get to be a part of that. Very well. We have quite a few sponsors today. We'll start with the first is Chandan Allen, who is sponsoring the feast today, seeking the blessings of Radha and Madan Mohan. Please. Please say a few words.
We're very blessed to be a part of this community. Anya here has been going to the Madan Mohan class, and my daughter Shona, who's with the youth club. So we're extremely blessed, and this is my humble service to Lord Krishna and to all of you, and I hope we can do more of this. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
It's a small gift for you, Mahaprasadam sweets, as well as the holy name. We're also very glad to have you as a part of the community. Our next sponsor, when I call out your name, please do come forward. We'd like to honor you for sponsoring the feast. Himanshu is sponsoring on the occasion of his daughter, Myra's birthday. Himanshu, are you here? Oh, please come up. Yeah. Oh, he's here. He's here. Yeah.
I guess I want to thank everybody, and I just hope Lord Krishna blesses my daughter with a happy and a healthy year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our next sponsor is Neelamani Krishna Chanda Prabhu and Shraddhavati Keshavi Mataji. They are sponsoring because they want to serve all the devotees in this month of Damodar during the Bhishma Panchak days, and they want to request all of your prayers. Haribol. Our fourth sponsor is Shamsundar Prabhu and Harikatha Mataji, who are sponsoring the occasion of little Jagannath's birthday. Haribol. Please say a few words for him.
You want to say? Hare Krishna.
Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees seeking blessings from Lordships and Vaisesika Prabhu and Nirakala Mataji, so I can continue to be a devotee of the Lord. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Now we have a very special sponsor today, Malati Mataji, who's sponsoring in the memory of her son Akshat. He was a very dear part of our community, very dear to the hearts of every generation here, the young, the older devotees. He was very sincere. He sought service very humbly. He was always in the background, and he truly wanted to understand the philosophy and backbone of Krishna consciousness, and he really took it to his heart. For the time we got to know him, it was a deep impression on every single one of us. So in his honor, Malti Mataji and all her friends have spent the entire day in the kitchen cooking the feast as a labor of love, because nothing meant more to him than his community here. So let's all come together in this moment and let's recite the Hare Krishna mantra for him in his memory. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we have the feast today and we're all sitting together and honoring Prasadam, we can remember him and his family and their contribution, everlasting contribution to our community. Thank you. Now, speaking of the feast, we have the Kaishora kids who are going to announce the army of cooks that were in the kitchen today.
Oh, sorry. You introduce yourself. I'm Parisa. And I'm Urshia. So today's leading cooks. So today's lead cooks are Siddh Katha Prabhu and Swarna Gopika Devi Dasi. And today's supporting cooks are Mukta Mataji, Hema Mataji, Sindhu Kanya Mataji, Niharika, Ankita Mataji, Ramuna and Neha Mataji, Aditi, Renu, Abhyadika Mataji, Saili Mataji, and Malati Mataji. And Puja, Anjali Mataji, Ritu Mataji, Kashmir Mataji, Satyam Prabhu, Ashish Prabhu, Anay Prabhu, and Shankar Prabhu.
Thank you that was a long list of cooks. But we hope you honor the feast. It will be served outside. There's already lines forming. There will be 2 tables, as usual, to honor Prasadam, and we can honor inside the temple room as well. And after you honor Prasadam, there will be a team who's going to clean up. So if you'd like to join just for a few minutes, it will help us prepare for the next program. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you next week. Hare Krishna.
We'll sing these prayers written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that say that one of the best ways to control the tongue, which is the gateway sense, if the tongue is controlled, all the senses are controlled, by honoring prasadam, food offered to Lord Krishna. It's in Bengali and it's got a very lively tune to it. Shari dat Mahaprasadiki, Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Hari. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. Heartfelt being all together for the last day of Kartik, isn't it? We'll never forget this night. And now we're serving prasadam in the Vrindavan picnic area. If you go straight out here, take sharp right, go straight ahead. You're going to run right into it. There's 2 tables out there. It's a little warmer in here, so feel free to come back in and sit down and honor your prasadam here, or if you like, you find a place outside, make yourselves at home. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming.